I've talked a lot about how Genshin Impact currently is and the issues that plague it and the wider game media industries. So now, what can we do about it? What can we actually change as consumers and producers of media in the ways we both consume and produce said media in order to encourage more equitable representations of cultures and societies that are similar or different to ours? Well, that starts in multiple places. First, recognition. Recognition of the variables that I discussed in the previous videos is vital. Unfortunately, today there are many voices in the media industries and other industries that will flat out refuse to acknowledge that there is systemic racism or exclusion of people and their cultures in the production industries. So what should we be recognizing exactly? Well, one, we are operating in the bounds of a capitalistic, Orientalist society that others and excludes cultures that it deems lacking in cultural capital. In this context, cultural capital is afforded in the highest order to white and white adjacent cultures, generally European ones. Any other cultures are seen as either exotic or inferior, and in both cases are expendable and usable. They are objects and not actual productions of entire communities and societies. Second, I propose that there be some form of mandate, or at least a self-upheld oath to actually consult people, many people, not just one or two, many, tens, hundreds maybe, from the regions and cultures that one wants to reproduce and represent, even if in a fictional and abstract capacity. Because audiences are not stupid. We can recognize when something is an abstraction of something real, even when it is placed in a highly fictionalized, highly fantastical environment like Genshin Impact, the way Sumeru was. I believe these two things combined form the blueprint and the basics of how to avoid falling into the same issues that the media industries have been plagued with over the past decades. But there's still lots to be done beyond that, because even consulting people is not a silver bullet. You can consult the wrong people. And then there's the very important fact that I have also stressed in a previous video, that cultures are not monoliths, and nor are the people that practice them. There are so many nuances and differences in the ways cultures are practiced and lived. And then there's the inevitable fact of cultural crossovers and cultural oddities that are unique to certain regions or others that perhaps people in the quote-unquote mainstream areas of said cultures will not know of. The specifics of these questions must be solved on a case-by-case basis. And that is why there is really no singular solution to solving cultural misrepresentation in media. So why are there no concrete solutions? That can be chalked up to a few different things, beyond what I just spoke about. The very act of media production is contingent on the internal frameworks and knowledge base that the media producer already has. Therefore, a lot of creators, either out of convenience or malicious laziness, just choose to talk about what they always know and what they already know and repeat it in a consistent fashion, choosing not to venture outside of that comfort zone. One big example, I think, is the Call of Duty franchise. They keep telling the same stories over and over again, and they are informed by a specific perspective of military conquest of the global south. Almost every single game in the Call of Duty franchise has elements of this in one way, shape, or form, even the ones that are focused on the so-called Russian threat, or the Soviet threat, if we take the games that were set in World War II, or post-World War II. an unchanging framework and an unchanging environment within which the creators of these games operate means that we keep getting the same outcome over and over again. It is also important to consider that even assuming good faith and assuming well done research and assuming the appropriate level of consultations with experts on the subject matter that one is trying to portray, there is still no way to ever be sure, and I think that we should not strive for that necessarily. Even if we represent cultures in a way that is appropriate or relevant or relatable to 99% of the participants in said culture, there will still be that 1% that says, this doesn't feel right to me. And it's not because they're being nitpicky, but I rather choose to believe that they are being honest about it. Hence, the issue is not about perfectionism or completionism, because cultures and societies cannot be perfected, nor can their representations be, because ultimately they are born of humanity, and so are their representations. However, we must strive in good faith to truly understand the bounds we work within, to be aware of the influence and impact of the political and economic systems we live under on our understanding of our own culture and other cultures. And then, only then, can we truly begin to create media and create stories and narratives that are encompassing not of the details and minutiae of cultures and societies, but their humanity.